Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, all. Welcome to Campbell Talk. I'm your host tonight, Matthew Graham Jackson. And tonight I am going to be interviewing Nhojj. And he's going to be up here telling us a little about himself and all the fabulous things that he do. He's an amazing singer. I got to witness and listen to him on a video that where he sang at a conference for Ujima down in Fort Lauderdale a few weeks back, or maybe a month or so back. Yeah, so grab your glasses, grab your cocktail, and let's get into it. Oh, well, here you go. Hello, good night.
Hey, how are you?
I'm fine, and yourself?
Pretty good. Good to see you again. Good to see you guys again.
Likewise. Well, thanks for being on the show, and I appreciate you being here.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So it's going to be a good night. It's going to be a great show. I'm not going to ask you too many questions, but I'm going to ask you some questions. Okay. So first off, let's start off by telling the people a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and all that good stuff.
So I live in the Orlando area now, but originally I'm from Guyana, um, and I moved from Guyana to Trinidad, and then I moved to New York. So I've kind of been around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
My dad. What's that?
No, go ahead. You're fine. Go ahead.
I was gonna say my dad's a church minister, so I'm a church boy. That's where I started singing at. Yeah, and I just never stopped after that.
Okay, so we got Beyonce as a church girl. We got you as a church boy. Okay, I like that. So you say you started singing in a church. Was it something that you just woke up one day and was like, I want to start singing? Well, like, what does that look like? Tell us a little bit about that.
So I think I always just had music, and well, there was music around the home. My sister played piano. We went to piano lessons, so there was always that kind of stuff. But I felt I just had music in my spirit because we had patios in Guyana. And before I could read or anything, I'd be out on that patio just singing for hours and hours and hours. Um, and it was after that my mom was like, "Well, let's have him sing in church because obviously he wants to sing. So let's put him put it to use." Yeah.
Okay. So that's what. Okay. Now, so you've been singing from young, way back when, as you just stated. Do you like? Do you feel like not that you gravitated towards it, you just eat, breathe, and sleep singing, right? So when you finally got into the church and started singing, did you want to branch out from church music? Like, what genre? Like, how did you find your sound?
So for a long time I just sang Christian music. Church. I mean, I always listened to the radio. So I think in my heart that's really what I wanted to do. I wanted to do songs I heard on the radio. Um, but for, I don't know, almost 20 years, I just sang because I would sing in church. So I would sing church songs. And I grew up Seventh Day Adventist, so there, it's super conservative
Right.
music there. So yeah, in my heart, I wanted to sing all those things I heard on the radio, like Michael Jackson and Luther Vandross and Anita Baker. Those were my Sade and Whitney and
Right, right.
um, so yeah, I wanted to, but it wasn't until I was in my 20s when I heard Maxwell. Like, Maxwell had that pretty falsetto, and he was kind of the sensitive,
Hmm.
artist, sensitive guy. I was like, I could do that. That's me. I could do that. So yeah, that was my real, that gave me the like, I could do this.
Okay, nice, nice. Um, so starting out singing from a early age, do you feel like up until now, do you feel like you've experienced like challenges being like a young African American singer, or do you feel like any obstacles got like get in your way, or like what does that look like?
Yeah. Yeah, so I start my first album I released my music independently because that was around 2001. There was mp3.com, and there
Mhm.
was the indie music scene was kind of,
Huge, yeah.
yeah. And so it's like, well, yeah, I can release my music independently. So, the challenge, I mean, there was tremendous freedom. Like, I didn't have anyone telling me, oh, you have to record this type of song or do it this way, or like I had all the freedom to create what was in my heart. But then as an independent artist, the challenge was to, I'm also the businessman and the manager and the press person. Like, there are all these hats that I needed to wear, and that can be exhausting.
Right,
so
right,
so that was definitely a challenge. And over the years, I got some help. People came in and kind of helped, and but yeah, it's, that's definitely been one challenge. Another challenge was, I now same gender loving music is fairly, the representation is, pretty common, or at least it's not. There are artists who have come out and who are singing their truth now, but back in, when we were doing it, there was no one in popular culture. I mean, Ricky Martin did kind of come out later, but we were a little bit before that, so there was no model for what we were doing. There was, I mean,
right,
there was like hip hop artists who were doing it. There was like homo hip hop,
right,
and there were artists like Tim M. West, and so there are independent artists who were kind of sharing our stories. But in terms of popular culture, like, there wasn't any model, that we could follow. So it was a challenge to kind of, you know, make that path clear, and
right. Or
so
pave
that
the way.
was, yeah, pave the way. That was a
Right.
challenge as well.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I have a question. So, if someone inspired to start singing and even to even write a song from scratch or to start recording, and you started out independently in the beginning until now, fast forward, what advice would you give somebody? Like now, there's so many streaming platforms. There's so many. Now the freedom to go independently is 10 times advanced than going independently when, back in 2000, 2001. And I remember mp3.com because that's what we would listen to, like our independent, like artists that we heard on MySpace and
Yeah.
Skonex and stuff at the time.
Yeah.
That's way back when. I'm mentioning things way, way back when.
Yep.
But if someone who's inspired to be a singer, to even just be a writer or trying to release an album.
I would say number one, go for it. Follow your heart, follow that calling, because particularly for me, like, I started out, well, I want to be a singer. I want to be, and the journey I ended up taking has just really been, it's really been a personal growth journey. I mean, what I thought I wanted. I thought I wanted fame and fortune and popularity and all these things, but really it was a journey of accepting myself. And so I would say definitely follow that call and do the music, write the music, sing the music that really speaks to you. Even if no one else is doing it, even if people don't, get it, or they don't accept it, or they don't, follow it, because there's something in there for you and there's something in there for someone else.
Mhm.
So yeah, I definitely say, and don't wait. Like, do it now, because time flies.
It does,
It
and it
goes
waits
by
for no
real fast. So do it now. Don't wait for the right circumstances. Don't wait, just go for it. Do it.
one. Nice. I
Wait will
agree with
become
that.
clear.
Time waits for no one. Um,
There you go. That part.
that part, right? What keeps you motivated? Like what keeps you motivated to just keep going?
So I found just remembering my why. Because there are times when I've gotten discouraged. I'm like, what am I doing? Like, people, the things that kind of excite me don't seem to excite many people. And I don't hear it on the radio. I don't hear it. I don't, right? Um, so I had to remember my why. Like, why am I singing music? Why am I doing music? Why am I singing? Why am I writing? And it really boiled down to, it brings me joy. Like, when I play my guitar and when I sing, it brings me joy. When I write, it brings me joy. It fulfills me. It's like there's a there's a he's a healer, really, Jerome Braggs. He's a SGL brother as well, and he has this quote, that, well, a message that he says: the things that we love are nutritious for us, therefore healing. And so yeah, that keeps me, and also just making the commitment to do a little bit every day, like write every day and sing every day, even if it's for 5 minutes. Just it keeps that window open, that creative window open for me, and that keeps me. It reminds me of why I'm doing this.
Okay. Now, if you had the who would be your top five artists to like do a bomb collaboration with if you had to pick?
Oh wow! See, dead or alive, or alive only.
No, they could be here. They could be dead or alive.
Okay. Um. Wow. Well, Maxwell. I love Maxwell, so Maxwell would be on there. I love Sade, so she would be on there. Let's see. Let's see. I'd have to say Michael Jackson as well, because he is so music, like he's dead. Like, I feel like there are many artists who have done this, but for him, like, I feel like he dedicated his life to music and he really studied it, and really, so yeah, I would love to do a collab with him. And there's B Slade. Are you familiar with B Slade? He used to be Tony. He used to be a
Okay.
gospel. I guess he
Yeah,
still is a
gospel.
gospel
Yeah.
singer.
Mhm.
Yeah. Like, I feel like, yeah, he's super. I met him and he's super cool, but he's also super talented, and he's been like breaking boundaries and forging ahead. So yeah, I'd love to work with him. So I think that's four. Who else would be my fifth? Da, 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 da. Pardon me, and I think maybe Beyonce. I'd like to, like, I know we're like different generations and stuff, but I don't know. It may be interesting the what comes out.
I work for the Beehive, so that was a good choice.
Oh, cool.
Okay, so that's a good lineup. Now, having picking your five top artists that you would collaborate, do you see yourself, and have you thought about being like a ghostwriter, or just like being like, or like just being like popping into people DMs? Because I think nowadays for entrepreneurs and sing like, because being a singer, you're an entrepreneur. Like you're running your own, like you're promoting yourself, you're promoting your albums, you're promoting you are the brand, right? So nowadays with social media, I think sliding into DMs and asking for collaborations, right? A lot of people go into like sliding in like Sony and Columbia Records and all of these places, sliding into DMs and marketing and advocating for yourself as a singer. Like, have you thought about like being a ghostwriter, or like sliding into to like these record labels? Hey, here's a demo. Here's my album. Here's all the like. Have you thought about any of that?
About ghostwriting, yeah, I have been like more and more now because I realize when I was younger, I loved singing and being kind of in the forefront, and now I feel like more comfortable being more behind the scenes. So yeah, I think I would love being a ghostwriter because, um, yeah, it just allows for creativity without any of the packaging and the marketing and any of that kind of stuff. Um, so yeah, definitely yes, I would love that. About sliding into DMs, I haven't thought of. I mean, yeah, I should consider that because I mean, why not? You never know.
You never know. And I asked about ghostwriting because me being in such a wide creative realm, if you will, and encountering and having so many friends of different walks of creativity, if that makes sense. I hear a lot of times like my friends who are my other friends as well who are singers. They always like, "Oh, I did this or I did this," because you have to promote yourself. You are the brand, and I emphasize on you are the brand, because if there's no PR, there's no marketing team, and Beyonce does not have a marketing team. She is the brand, right? So with that being said, you might have to slide in a DM like, "Hey, I'm so and so. Check out my album. I'm so and so. Listen to my music here." And I hear that all the time because another friend of mine who's a singer is was telling me this 3 weeks ago. Like, I be liking Columbia Records everything, like just going down, going down, going down, liking everything every day until they see me, right? And I asked about ghostwriting because me and him was talking about ghostwriting. He was like, yeah, his friend, which I don't know personally, was ghostwriting for a singer, like a indie artist. And I think now that indie artist is kind of like blowing up all over Atlanta. I forget his name off the top of my head, but he started ghostwriting, and what that led to is, okay, well, you've written this song, right? But it's not sounding like the writer, right?
Yeah,
Now they come looking for the writer because they want to know who wrote this song. Now they want to hear it from the writer's perspective, right? So now you open up a whole new door because you went from ghostwriting. The person that you've written it for is not sounding right. Now they want to hear it from the writer itself. And I'm like, oh wow. I was telling him, I'm like, Manny, I didn't even think about it like that. He was like, listen, it's like you have to insert yourself into certain creative spaces so that this way it
right.
can open bigger doors. And I'm like, I didn't even think about it like that. He's like, yeah, because how many times you hear in the industry now, so and so wrote a song for so and so, but that industry, that record label had to spin the block and come back to the ghostwriter because so and so couldn't sing it correctly, or they passed that song around until they can find the right voice that is supposed to match. And I'm like, I really didn't think about that like that, you know? So that's why I ask that question, like, have you thought about that, you know? Because we have to promote and market ourselves nonstop, 24/7. And I heard of I saw the video of you singing at the conference, and I was like, oh wow. I was like, oh, this is nice, you know. So yeah, we have to promote, and now now in this era, there's so many ways to promote. I feel like there's no way not to be seen. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And we just have to get like sometimes like, and I'm guilty as an entrepreneur too. I'm not a singer. I wish I was, but we all, no matter what it is, whether you're singing, you're rapping, you're designing, you're creating a product, whatever it may be, we have to get our own way and realize that we are the brand, right? The resources may look different, especially for people of color, right? And I'm not saying everybody of color, but I'm saying like some people of color, right? the dynamic, everything might look different. We might not have a publicist team. We might not have a marketing team. We might not have a broad a book of resources behind us or people behind us that's going to market, promote, and put us in the places that we need to be. But we have so many platforms today that we didn't have back then, right? There's
Yeah,
TikTok, there's
yeah,
Instagram, there's
yeah,
YouTube, there's Facebook, there's so many things that would allow us to put ourselves out there, right? And I just think that 9 out of 10 times, and me guilty of this, we get frightened, right? Because we don't know
yeah,
how the masses is gonna take it or what that's gonna look like. But at the end of the day, put it out. And I live by the motto, build, they will come.
yeah.
And I've been living by that for like the last umpteen years, right?
I
And
feel it.
and I stand on that because I'm like, you won't know how people are going to react until they hear it. You're not going to know how people are going to react until they try it. You're not going to know how people are going to react until they see it, you know? So, yes, that's why I asked that question. And a lot of people, so it's like, in another group the last week, I was asking my other friend, I'm like, oh, I know you went from singing to DJing. Are you going to double back to singing? And how do you feel about ghostwriting? She's like, why you ask me that? And when I explained her the same thing, she's like, I really didn't think. And I said, I didn't think about it like that either until my friend Manny was like, listen, like it's literally a cycle. And I'm like, oh wow. So when I'm like, we doing this show tonight, I'm like, that's a question I'm gonna ask. You know?
No, because I hadn't even thought of it like that too. But that's so true. Like it can circle around.
Yeah, it's gonna because you're not gonna find some. First of all, there's nobody's gonna have your voice.
Mm,
No one's gonna have your sound. No one's gonna sing. You may find somebody, but no one's gonna sing the music that you make like you. Nobody's gonna sing the music that you write like you, right? So, and I feel like, or what I think, when someone writes a song, that passion that's going into when it's
yeah,
written, it still has to be sung that way. You know what I mean? So you could pass it. You could give me a piece of paper with lyrics on it. It's not going to sound like how you wrote it. It
right.
may, but that passion. You know what I mean? So that's why I asked that question. Um,
No, that's a great question. Thanks. It like gets me thinking.
it's the wheels turning, right? So I'm like, I'm going to ask that question tonight. Um, so from starting to now, what's next for Najee? Like, what's next? Like, well, first of all, before you answer that question, I know you said you released an album. How many albums have you released? How many are you working on?
Oh, so yeah, I have released 7 albums.
Okay,
Um, yeah, and I've covered a bunch of genres from like love songs to same gender loving songs to socially conscious to reggae to gospel, jazz. Um, yeah, but wherever I felt like, because I grew up listening to all this music, and so I was like, well, I'm an independent artist. I can explore this. I can do this. So yes, I'm 7 in. And I also have 3 poetry books. So I've also written poetry.
nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So now, have you utilized like the SoundClouds, the iTunes, the am I butchered this? Spotify? Have you utilized any of those platforms?
Yeah, so yeah, everything is on, there's a independent, well, when we started, the only independent distributor was CD Baby, and they would get you onto all the platforms, Amazon,
Okay,
Spotify, iTunes, everything. Now there are a whole bunch of them. So yeah, all my music is on all the platforms.
okay, nice.
My
Okay,
books are and Amazon for books. They have I forget what their program is, but as an independent author, I get my books published on Amazon.
nice. Okay,
Yeah,
wow. I didn't even know you do poetry. Okay, nice.
yeah.
Okay. So what's next? Are you working on another album? Are you gonna release anything new?
Yeah, so I've been so yeah, I started working on this album back in I think 2017. And then I put it down because after my last album I was really kind of down after my last album because I felt it was a great concept and we took love songs, and we changed the pronouns, popular love songs. There's even a Beyonce song on there. Um, and we changed the pronouns so it would be male to male, like wherever there were pronouns. And we did a documentary about the making of it. We got these incredible musicians to play, like John Legend's drummer, Swiss Chris, and like
Wow.
yeah, just like and we thought it was gonna like just take me to the next level, and it didn't. And so after that, I was really down. I was really disappointed first. So for a number of years, that's how I started. That's why I started publishing poetry, because I was like, I need a break from music. But I still want to write. Like writing is healing. So,
Okay.
um, but
Now,
now I feel like, I'm ready to jump back in. So I started in 2017, and then I picked it up in 2020. I continued like editing the songs, and then I edited them again earlier this year. So yeah, I'm gonna start recording early next year.
okay, nice. Okay, so that's something good to look forward to for the new year. Now, will there be? I love that idea. That concept sounds amazing. I have to go and listen. Now, will there be a 2.0 of that? Like, would you pick that back up and do like a 2.0? Because that concept is, and then now with so many like same loving marriages, I think like they need that music. You know what I mean? Like there's not a lot of options because everything else is so like hetero. You know what I mean? So they
Yeah,
need that option. You know what I mean? So what other way to get it is like if it's available. You know what I mean?
yeah. Thank you. Yeah, maybe I will. Like I hadn't thought about continuing like doing a 2.0, but yeah, maybe a 2.0 is yeah, maybe I should explore that.
Yeah, I'm big on. I'm gonna say this. I'm big on rinse and repeat, right? And what because in my mentor classes, what I like to tell my mentees is that sometimes we have to change our mindset. We have to also change our vocabulary, right? So, and I'm guilty for this. Like, I had to learn this. I had to transition into this because I was more like, oh, you know, when I made this dress, somebody wanted it. I'm done with it. Whatever. It was a flop. It was this, and I had to change those words to saying that you know what? So they didn't see it yet, right?
Yeah.
Right? I didn't. It wasn't. They didn't see it yet. That was the biggest thing. Like, oh, they didn't see it yet. You know, because I used to always be like, oh, nobody saw this when I'm over it. You know, and then I would toss it to the side after doing like a 10-hour photo shoot of a whole collection. I'm like, nobody's asking for it. Nobody, I would throw it to the side, be so destroyed, stop sewing for like 2 to 3 months, and then I get a call or email like, hey, I need a dress from so and so collection, and I'm like, what? Like, where were you when I did the photo? Like when the photos was on, I wasn't getting the likes. You know what I mean? So sometimes we have to change our mindset. We have to change our vocabulary. We have to shift gears. And I always say to myself, I didn't have a me when I started my first business, and now that I have multiple, it's like I always remind myself like I didn't have a me, and I wish I had a me now because it would be so much different, but everything happens for a reason, right? So my biggest thing is rinse and repeat. If they didn't see this dress a month ago and they didn't like it a month ago, I'm gonna switch it up. So I'm gonna use the same pattern. I'm gonna put it in a different color. I'm gonna use the same pattern and put it in a different print. You know what I mean? So rinse and repeat is good. So that's why I asked if there was gonna be a 2.0 because sometimes we put things down, we forget about it, not because and we get discouraged, not because nobody didn't like it, not no because maybe they didn't hear it.
That's
Right?
true.
Maybe we
That's
put it out.
true.
Maybe I made that dress too early. Maybe I made the dress everybody was sleeping. Maybe I released the photos to the photo shoot everybody was at work. You know what I mean? So timing is everything, but I also feel like we have to change our mindset. We also have to change our vocabulary, and sometimes we have to do a spin off on things. I'm big on 2.0s, right? So if you didn't hear it when I dropped it when it was 1.0, I'm gonna drop it again, and it's gonna be another. I'm gonna put maybe one or two new pieces on there, kind of switch it up a little bit, but you're gonna get it again. You know what I mean?
I
So
love that. Thank you. Yeah, 2.0.
you know, so that's why I asked that question. But before we go any further, I would just like to pause and say that we'll let everyone know, our watchers, that tonight's show is sponsored by Campbell Health Solutions. They offer free HIV testing, STD screening, as well as PrEP and PEP services. They're located right here in Palm Beach County. You can visit their website at campbellhealthsolutions.org or give them a call at 561 208 6595. I don't know what's in my throat. But yes, wanted to lead with that because they are doing some amazing things in Palm Beach County. So yes, I'm big on 2.0s and remixing everything. And I think for me, excuse me, for me, that's kind of been like a thing. And every time I explain that to my mentees in my group, my Zoom meetings, they're like, I didn't think about it like that. I just gave it up. So they run back and find whatever it is that they dumped. It's like, I'm picking it back up. I'm
I
picking it back
love
up. And
that.
let's pick it back up. Let's dust it off and let's figure it out.
I love
I'm like,
that.
and let's figure it out. Um, but yes, and like I said, I heard you singing. I saw the video because I came late, but I
Oh,
saw the clip of you singing, and I'm like, oh my god! And it's funny that you said that you like Maxwell because that voice, like that Maxwell has like that subtle, like sweet, just
yeah.
like smooth, and I'm like, oh okay, So when I found out you was going to be on my show, I was like, oh, this is going to be interesting. I got some questions. So and I always like to leave with, just it's all mindset. Regardless, and I go back to this all the time, regardless of what it is, because singing is a business. Rapping, freestyling is a business. No matter what type of entertainment or product, it's a business, right? And I'm big on marketing ourselves. And again, because I'm my own worst critic, but I was big on standing in my own way and throwing things in a corner that didn't get 1,000 likes or one like 100 likes or whatever. But what I had to realize was that pick it back up, and especially if it's been like 5 months to a year later, pick it up.
Yeah,
They're not gonna remember. If they didn't like the dress back then, they're not gonna know the difference, right? So why not pick it back up,
that's true.
dust it off, tweak it a little bit, and then bring it back. And like I said, we're having so many of these social media platforms today. Um, it's mind blowing. Like I can't even keep up. With my craft
Yeah.
and my talent, I can't even keep up. But it's just mind boggling. I went to see the Beyonce movie, and I'm gonna pick something from this that is just gonna show you how social media works. One of her dancers didn't even plan on, or did what? Not only did she not plan on dancing for Beyonce, she had no intentions on dancing, like other than her dancing in her home with her wig off, looking crazy with her Meek Mill braids. Like, and I'm telling this story because I'm sitting in Luke and I'm like, wow, like in a blink of an eye, you went from dancing in your house, throwing your wig on the floor and just expressing yourself through dance. And then Beyonce, even in the movie, Beyonce said, I called her, I DM'd her, okay? I DM'd her, and 2 weeks later, she was at rehearsal.
Oh, wow.
Like I still get chills, but I was even chillier when I heard it in the movie because I'm like, here is this regular girl minding her business,
Yeah.
dancing to express herself, and and then now you're dancing for Beyonce. Not only did you dance for Beyonce, but you danced what 53 concerts
Wow. All
so
around the world and
all
in
around
a
the world. And I say that because the power of social media is so real, and I think that everybody gets so hell bent on everything needs to be perfect, right? Here is this girl singing, throwing her wig on the ground, singing with her crusty braids, and that's how they show it in the movie, like her like just in her natural element, right? So why not? Why can't I sing in the shower? They might not pick me up singing in the shower, but why can't we sing in the shower? Why can't
yeah.
I sing around the house? And there's also a woman, like with a child, a Caucasian woman, fabulous voice, and I think the child is behind the scenes like, Mom, can you sing? Like she's cooking, and the child is like, Mom, can you sing so and so? And she'll just bust out singing, and I'm like, look how many people, like I feel it in my spirit. I'm like, somebody's gonna pick this woman up. This
Mm.
woman, even if she's not on this woman is gonna ghostwrite for somebody. This woman is going to like something is gonna happen for this woman, and I say that because I feel this. Like when I heard the video of you singing, and I'm like, I got questions tonight because we gonna dig in. We gonna see would you go? Are you gonna pick some things back up? Are you gonna like tweak like because that? Listen, same love. They need it. Okay, they tired of hearing this heterosexual music walking down the aisle. They tired. Okay, because I'm gonna renew my vows in a couple more years, and I'm tired. I don't want to hear none of that. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So picking things back up is my biggest thing, and remixing things, and rinse and repeat. Because you know what? I want to call it the blueprint, right? You want to rinse and repeat the blueprint because you already did it, right?
Yeah.
We know. I know my dresses are amazing. You know your music is amazing. You know how you sound. We know this, right? But that's the blueprint, right?
Yeah.
They didn't hear it last month. They didn't see that dress last month. You know what I mean? They didn't see it last year. Rinse and repeat. We already have the blueprint. You know what I mean? So yeah. So I'm excited for what's next for you for next year. Um,
Thank you. And thank you for sharing that because that really, yeah, yes. Thank you I needed that.
Listen, we sometimes we like I said, we stand in our own way, and sometimes it take us to get each other going and moving out our own way because if we don't do it, nobody will, and we'll be stuck inside talking about we didn't release this collection, I didn't release this album, I didn't make this dress. No, it's all can be rinsed and repeat. You know what I mean? And just because it, like I said, and I keep saying that because I feel like within the last 2 weeks, I've been saying the same thing to my mentees, and I'm saying it again this week. I'm like, rinse and repeat. You know what I mean? I'm like, how many people have 7 businesses or 10 albums? It's just they have the blueprint. That's the
Yeah.
blueprint, right? And because they have 10 albums, how you know the first album didn't flop? And they bring it back for the second. How you know the second album didn't flop and they bring it back as a third? You understand what I'm saying? And going back to Beyonce because I'm a diehard fan and I know that like the back of my hand, the Crazy in Love album flopped 4 times. She kept
Oh,
sitting on release dates, sitting on release dates, and how many like you rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. So although I didn't have a me when I was creating my businesses, I had different celebrities or like just listen to like backstories and like when you are a fan of something or somebody, you dive into them. You know what I mean? So you you got to dust it off. You got to pick it back up. You have to rinse and repeat. That's my biggest thing. And I'm like I said, 2.0 is my best friend. And within the last 4.5 years, I'm like, you know what? That's going to be the Kelly dress too. And literally on the website, it says Kerry 2 because
oh
they didn't
wow.
see one. So you're going to get 2. Okay. So just big. And like I said, I'm excited for what's to come um, for you for next year. I love the advice that you gave for someone who wants to start out. And okay, I'm gonna go back to something. So starting, I know you said that starting out at a young age, your parents was like, you know what, you want to sing? Let's put him in a church. And I love that, right? They didn't deter you. They didn't steer you wrong from singing. They didn't say, you know what, the movie with Lauryn Hill, singing does not put food on the table. Singing does not pay the bills. You didn't have that. That wasn't your situation. You know what I mean? They allowed you to express yourself. They said, you know what, he want to sing. Let's take him off this patio and put him in a church. Right
Yeah.
at that time, you may want to sing what was on the radio, but they were like, you know what, you want to sing? Let's go
Yeah.
sing. And
Yeah.
a lot of people are not fortunate to have that. You know what I mean? They're like, no, no singing. You're gonna be a doctor. No, you're not making this dress. You're gonna be a lawyer. You know what I mean? So to be fortunate enough to have had that support, it's just your parents saw something, was like, you know, he got a voice, let's put it to use, So sometimes it's those little things that we have to go back on and remember, like you said, your why.
Yeah.
Why? My parents believed in me. My why, I know I sound amazing. My why, I know I can write. You know what I mean? So sometimes when we get discouraged, we just have to go back to the why. And I love the fact that you say that because a lot of people forget their
Yeah.
why because they're so wrapped up into there's one thing to use social media to advance and then there's also a way to use social media to get derailed, to be tricked out of your spot, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people look at the rich and say, oh, this one is singing and this one got picked up by so and so, this girl was dancing in her house and got picked up by Beyonce. Those are all back, yes, they're amazing accomplishments which we appreciate, but I need to focus on me, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes I go on my social media cleanse because I'm like, I need at least 3 weeks to cleanse myself of the media, to just focus on me, to dive back into my books, write down my thoughts, right? Because a lot of times, 9 out of 10 times when we share these things on Facebook, you got people liking, you got people watching, you got people hoping like, damn, how the hell they did that again? Because they didn't want you to do it. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes we have to step back and just realize that like we can stand in our own way, and sometimes we got to get out of that way and just realize the tools that we have, because like I said, it's all a blueprint, right?
Yeah.
um so yes, I'm glad I was able to leave you with something to keep the wheels rolling and a lot to think about, but
Thank
I
you.
said I was going
Yeah.
to ask you a question.
What's
So
that?
no, I said to myself, I said I'm going to ask him that question, like, because I honestly did not think about, I've never thought about, first of all, I don't sing, I don't write, so I wouldn't even be thinking about that. But I'm like, I have a lot of friends who sing and who are creative with, whether even if they can't sing, they write. You know what I mean? So I'm like, oh, I didn't think about that. I'm like, but it circles back, because if Tamla can't sing that song like Najee, who gonna sing it like? They gonna have to come get you to sing it, right?
That's a great idea. That's a great idea. And also, I'm gonna, because there's a list of affirmations that I keep that I read, try and read every day, and I'm gonna add that rinse and repeat and 2.0. I'm gonna add it to my affirmation list.
Listen, I keep them in my back pocket all the time. I'm like, I get a spark, I lose that spark. I'm like, 2.0 is coming. 2.0 is coming. So, yes, well, it was a pleasure having you. But before I let you go, I want you to tell the people where they can get in contact with you, where they can listen to your music, where they can purchase your books, your social media handles so that they can follow. Um, and hopefully, there's singers watching who can't write and then they want you to write something for them.
I would love that. So, so all my social media handles are Nhojj, at Nhojj, Nhojj. I'm on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I'm on X, and of course on all the streaming platforms. It's the same, Nhojj, Nhojj. My website is Nhojj.com. I also have a Patreon account if you want like a closer, I release videos each week, so you can check me out on Patreon /Nhojj.
Okay.
And for my books, it's Nhojj Poetry on Amazon. So
Well,
yeah, and thanks for having me on. This has been amazing.
well, thank you for being here. Did you want to leave the people with something? Did you want to like give them a little snippet or something? Did you want to hear your amazing vocals or?
Oh, sure. Okay. Let's see. You want me to? Should I play something? Do we have enough time for that?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay, sure. Let's see. This is where I sit and practice all the time, so it's like right there,
As it should be.
as it should be, right? Can you hear it?
We can.
I love your chest, I love your lips. I saw your heart right from the start, and I just knew that we would be. I love you, I love your chest, earthy and nice. I love your taste, sugar and spice. Whatever you want, you can have it. Hey, 'cause you're making me high, so high, like you're the highest high. Yeah, you're making me high, so high. Love is the highest high, high. I love your scent, earthy and nice. I love your taste, sugar and spice. I crown you king, give your blessing. Oh, I love your groove, down to the bone. I close my eyes, you're in the zone. Whatever you want, you can have it. 'Cause you're making me high, so high. Like you're the highest high, high. Yeah, you're making me high, so high. Love is the highest high. That's why I'm loving your male body. Hey, I'm loving your male mind. And don't you know I'm loving your male essence? Hey, I'm loving yours and mine. Yeah, I'm loving your male body. I'm loving your male mind. Don't you know I'm loving your male essence? Hey, I'm loving yours and mine. Yeah, I'm loving. I'm loving yours and mine.
You making me high. See, they're gonna be coming for you because I don't have the vocals. That was amazing.
Thank you.
Can I find that on iTunes? Or where can I find that song?
Yeah, it's on iTunes. It's not this is like the acoustic version. So it's called, I think, Male Body, Loving the Male Body.
Well, I'm gonna go download that. As soon as we get off, I'm gonna go download that right now.
Thank you.
Okay, see, okay. Maybe I could get some vocal lessons from you. Okay.
Oh, I can do that. I've had lots of training, so yeah, I can definitely do that. You have a pretty voice. I hear it.
Listen, I'm trying to be on 2.0. Well, Nhojj, it was a pleasure having you tonight, and I'm blown away. Blown away.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me. An absolute joy.
Well, I look forward to talking to you soon. And again, I look forward to what you have in store for next year. But I'll be talking to you soon before then.
Okay, great.
Good night.
Good night.